And welcome. It is Saturday morning. It's 11:30, 22nd of June, and I just came across a very interesting program now. Why are British women becoming Muslims? We know that in Europe, thousands of people are becoming embracing Islam, both men and women, but the majority of people who are becoming Muslims are women. And this lady, she's a British woman. She gives a very interesting analysis as to why she became a Muslim and why other British women are also becoming Muslims. And we're seeing the trend that Islam is the fastest growing religion in the world. So many people from Poland, Portugal. I just saw another program yesterday. A pastor in Portugal, young lady in her early 30s. She was going around preaching Christianity, and while trying to find faults in Islam, she became a Muslim. So a pastor became a Muslim. So many in Japan are becoming Muslims, in Brazil, in Europe, in France, in Belgium, in Norway, in Sweden, in Germany, in Austria, in Greece, in Turkey. So many places people are embracing Islam, and the majority of them are women. And let's see what this lady had to say. She had some fascinating things to say. So while she was talking, I just made a few notes. So let's just go through some of. So this is the British lady talking as to why she feels comfort in Islam, and she's talking to her fellow British people to say that you all are saying there's too many Muslims here, but look at the value system of Muslims compared to the British. So she's comparing what Muslims do, what are the value systems of Muslims compared to the ordinary British men. And she's asking herself a question: would you rather marry a British man who's got these qualities, or would you rather marry a Muslim man with these qualities? So let's go briefly to what she's got to say. So she's speaking to her fellow British and English females. What are you scared about Muslims? Firstly, Muslims don't like porn. Muslims don't like violence. Muslims don't like drinking. They don't drink alcohol. Most Muslims are teetotalers. The question then she asks her fellow British ladies is, what happens in your households? At every point of the year, when you get together at parties or weekends or year end, when you start drinking, and you know what happens when everybody starts drinking, tell me what happens. And she says, leave a comment. What happens with drinking compared to Muslims who don't drink? So what happens in our British drinking culture when we get together to drink? Secondly, the next important point, she says, Muslim men don't like cheating around. They take their no sex before marriage very seriously. Tell me, so she's asking her fellow British woman again, tell me if you have ever been cheated on by your guy in our British society. Okay, that's an important question. If you as a woman, have you been cheated by your man? And then tell me, did you like that? Did you like being cheated upon and betrayed by your men? Do you like that about our culture, our British culture, where men find it easy to sleep around, even when they are married? Because they used to do it even before they were married. Because the British men, they have sex before marriage, whereas Muslim men take those vows very seriously, because they used to do it even when they were not married. We have a very promiscuous British society. Women take the vows seriously and don't want to be cheated, but men can't be bothered. Then she asks another question, and this is a third important point she makes. Do you like it that our British men don't have any faith? Whereas in contrast, Muslims are very serious about their faith, and many of them pray 5 times a day. Then she asks another question. Do you like dating men who don't pray, and men that you cannot lean on for support when things are difficult, when there is severe stress in the family or in your life? Do you like a man who doesn't say, whereas a man who prays says, a Muslim man says, don't worry, God has got you, God is with you, let's pray on this problem together. So the faith of the Muslim man is so amazing that it makes the woman feel secure and protected. So she's asking a question once again to the British woman. Where has that got you by dating men who have got no faith? How has your relationship been? How much therapy have you had to do because of your relationships and the men who cheated on you? Further, she says, Muslim men don't like gambling. And she's asking a question to her fellow British. Do you like it when your wife or your husband or your friend gets addicted to gambling and then wastes all of your money and ends up in a hellhole? Do you like it? Yet Muslims don't gamble. Furthermore, she says, Muslims promote monogamy and staying together forever. Tell me, would you like that from your husband? That he is loyal to you, that he does not cheat, and that he is not a womanizer and does not chase every short skirt he sees? Would you as a woman like that? Then she says, Muslims are clean and have great hygiene. If more Muslims keep growing in your neighborhood, they are neat and clean and respectful neighbors. Or would you prefer to live with neighbors who have really been full of beer cans and loud music and parties every weekend? Is that what you really want? And then she says, did you know that white people can also be Muslims? In fact, anyone can be a Muslim, but she's emphasizing the point that even whites can be Muslims. And we find the majority of people who are embracing Islam are from Europe, white British, from all over the world, Filipinos from Brazil, in Argentina, Poland, Japan, China. But Europe, they're embracing Islam. And then she says a very important point. Did you know that terrorism has nothing to do with Islam? And I like this part of hers because I wrote an entire book on Islam in the media, how the media distorts the concept about Islam. And I love it that this woman is now talking about that. She's a British woman. She's talking about that. She's saying, did you know that terrorism has got nothing to do with Islam? Terrorism is un-Islamic. It is against the basic teachings of Islam. You are not a Muslim if you do such acts. Look at this. I'm amazed at this woman's insight. She's got a really clear thinking. The wrong stuff that newspapers report on to give us a really bad view of Islam. Islam in the media. How is the media distorting your view about Islam? So she's actually talking about the core essence of my book, Islam in the Media. The newspaper are brainwashing us. So all Muslims would agree that these terrorists are not practicing Muslims, and have ordinary Muslims will say, not in my name. Don't do those acts and say this is what Islam teaches. Islam does not say that. In fact, Islam says if you kill one innocent life, it is as if you kill the whole of humanity. If you saved one life, it is as if you have saved the whole of humanity. So terrorism has got no place in Islam. And then further she says, we have all been brainwashed by British media propaganda. Finally, she says, your children would be safer in a highly populated Muslim area? Or are you under the false illusion and delusion that white non-Muslim people don't do acts of violence to children, their wives, their girlfriends, their sisters, their friends and others? Then you are deluded. Or are you under the false illusion that godless men, those who don't have faith, don't produce violence? And then she says, open your mind. Go for people who have faith. And she promotes Islam. And this is now, I don't have the web, this is Britain taken over by Muslim. If you want to see that link, Britain taken over by Muslims. And it's at hashtag Islam, hashtag UK, and it's got 138,000 views. Okay, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts. If you have recently embraced Islam, let me know your thoughts. What has appealed to you about Islam, and how does the media distort the true teaching of Islam? And I'll be doing a whole series on my book, Islam in the Media. Stay well, look after yourself.